What's up, future CPAs? Today, we are absolutely cracking the code on a topic that is, no joke, a massive part of your RFBT exam and honestly, your whole career. The Intellectual Property Office, or IPO. But look, we're not just going to read a textbook at you. No. We're going to build a mental blueprint, a framework that's going to stick in your brain for the next 3 years, all the way to the LACPA. This is about real understanding, not just cramming. You ready? Let's get into it. All right, imagine this. It's like 2 in the morning, you're deep in a study grind, and then bam, it hits you, this absolutely genius business idea. Maybe it's an app, a killer brand name, some wild new invention. It's perfect. But then that little voice in your head kicks in. Wait, how do I stop someone from just taking this? How do you actually own something that just started as a thought? Well, the answer is right here, the Intellectual Property Office. Seriously, think of the IPO as the official government-backed guardian for your brainchildren. This is the place that takes a fleeting idea and turns it into a real, legally protected, and super valuable asset. And understanding how it's built, that is your first step to mastering this whole game. Okay, so before we start drawing up the blueprint of the IPO, we have to pour the foundation. I mean, why does a place like this even exist? Why does the government care so much about protecting ideas? The answer is buried right in the IP Code's own mission statement. So let's start with the why before we get to the what. This right here is the big picture. The IPO isn't just about being fair to artists or inventors. No, it's way bigger. It's an economic engine. See, by protecting ideas, the government starts this awesome cycle of creativity, it encourages new tech to get shared and used, and it basically hangs a giant open for business sign that attracts foreign investment. That's the real reason this all matters so much. So what is the IPO actually protecting? It's these things. Intellectual property rights. What are they? Well, basically, they're the exclusive rights, kind of like a legal monopoly, that you get over your creations. Think of them as actual assets, like patents for your inventions, trademarks for your brand, or copyrights for your creative work. Super valuable stuff. And here's another key term you gotta lock in your brain. Technology transfer arrangements. This sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the official rulebook for sharing or licensing awesome technology. It's how, say, some cutting-edge battery tech from another country can be legally used by a company right here to build electric cars. The IOP is the referee for these huge, game-changing deals. All right, foundation is set. Now let's build the headquarters. We are going to construct our mental blueprint of the IPO itself, and we're going to break its whole structure into 6 super easy-to-remember parts. This is where we meet the teams that make it all happen. So this is the 30,000-foot view. This is straight out of the IP Code, Section 5. And man, the IPO's job is huge. They're in charge of processing applications, registering those tech deals we just talked about, acting as a special court for IP fights, and even helping shape national policy. They're basically the central command for all things IP. Now, let's break down who does what. Okay, here it is, your first major study hack. Trying to memorize all 6 bureaus at once is just not going to work. So we're going to use a technique called chunking. We'll split them into 2 logical groups. First up, what I call the core IP trio. These are the frontline departments, the ones dealing directly with creating and defending IP rights. First in the trio, the Bureau of Patents. I want you to think of this as the inventor's workshop. If you come up with a brand new, game-changing machine or process, this is your first stop. They're the experts, the gatekeepers. They check out your application, and if it's really new and inventive, they're the ones who grant you that super powerful patent. They also handle smaller stuff like utility models and industrial designs that protect how a product looks. Next up, the Bureau of Trademarks. This is your brand protector. That awesome logo you designed, that super catchy business name you came up with, this bureau registers it, making sure nobody else in your field can use it. They're literally the guardians of your business's identity in a super crowded market. And the third member of our core trio is the Bureau of Legal Affairs. Just call it the in-house court. When things get messy, like someone's copying your brand or you need to challenge someone else's patent, this is where you go. And here, oh man, here is a classic exam question detail. For them to handle an IP violation case, the total damages you're claiming have to be at least 200,000 pesos. Remember that number? I promise you, it'll come up. Awesome. We've got the front line covered. So if those first 3 bureaus are the stars of the show, who's running things backstage? Let's move to our next chunk. These next 3 are the mission-critical backbone. I call them the support and dev trio because they handle the education, the tech, and the day-to-day operations that make the whole system work. So number 4 is the Documentation, Information, and Technology Transfer Bureau. Yeah, it's a mouthful, so let's just call it the Knowledge Hub. Their job is to teach everyone, from students like you to big-shot entrepreneurs, all about IP. And super important, they're the ones who handle registering and settling fights over those technology transfer arrangements we talked about earlier. Next is the Management Information Services Bureau, which is basically the tech engine of the IPO. I mean, think about it. An organization this big runs on data and digital systems. This bureau keeps the servers running, the online applications working, and all those massive databases of patents and trademarks secure and searchable. Without these tech wizards, the whole operation would just grind to a halt. And finally, our 6th bureau, the Administrative, Financial, and HR Bureau. This is mission control. Simple as that. They handle the money, the people, the HR, the literal paperwork. When you file an application and pay a fee, it's going through them. When a trademark finally gets approved, they're the ones who officially publish it for the world to see. They run the business side of the IPO. Okay, the full blueprint is now built in your mind. We did it. But how do we make sure it actually sticks? Not just for your quiz next week, but for the board exams 3 years from now. This is the final hack. We're going to boil everything down into single, powerful keywords. This is the secret to long-term memory. You ready? This right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. Let's lock this in nice and fast. Patents are for inventions. Trademarks are for brands. Legal affairs handles disputes. DITTDG is all about knowledge. MIS is the tech, and admin/finance runs the operations. Okay, say it with me. Inventions, brands, disputes, knowledge, tech, operations. One more time, lock it in. Inventions, brands, disputes, knowledge, tech, operations. That is the mental blueprint of the IPO. You got this. And that's a wrap. That is the complete mental blueprint of the Intellectual Property Office, totally designed to stick with you for the long haul. You now have the why, the what, and the who. So the only question left is, now that you have this knowledge, what brilliant idea are you going to protect? Catch you in the next one.